What's up, everybody? It's episode 25 of the Untitled Podcast. Welcome. Today, I, Aftermath 1231, I'm joined by Aries.
Hello, friends.
And McCracKenway.
Hi, guys. Hi, I'm here.
This episode has been a right bitch to record, so due to scheduling issues and things like that, Aries is going to jump in and out throughout the podcast, so he'll be here for some sections, but not all. We don't have Lawson with us here to talk about the marathon, and we don't have Wayne here to talk with us about the movie. So thanks to various scheduling issues and all of that stuff, including time zones. Can't forget to blame the time zones, of course.
Yeah.
We plan on next week being quite a bit better, quite a bit more organized.
Back to a full cast.
Yeah.
On
Thanks
time.
to when we can get all situated and used to our new schedules, because these two are now back in uni or college or whatever it is.
Yeah. Dang, there was something I wanted to mention. Forgot what it was. Something about that kind of stuff.
So before we get started real quick, this week we're going to talk a bit about some of the new PAX info we got. Then we're going to talk a bit about the pre-order Darwin Dickens trailer. Then we're going to talk a bit about the comics. Then we're going to talk about the movie. And that'll be it. Before we get on to that, I just want to talk about a few things real quick.
Oh yeah, can I just say real fast?
Go ahead.
Is this one of the... I feel like might have been one other, but this might be one of the only two-person episodes we've done. At least for the most part.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, you might be right. I think this might be... I don't know. Because we have no guests because it's episode 25 and scheduling.
Yeah.
So it's kind of special and also scheduling.
Mm-hmm. This was almost a special episode. And it's special in a different way.
Different way now, but the special episode's been moved to next week, as I mentioned on Twitter, and then we have quite a good lineup coming up for the next few weeks after this, though. So I think we might be in a better setup for the rest of the wee while.
Yeah, we've got some exciting things down the road, I think.
And we have Syndicate's releases coming up as well. So there was something I want to talk a bit about in the intro today. This was actually inspired by my friend Cole96 of the ones who came before Facebook page. He was talking to me about this, and it's an issue that he's been dealing with for a while. There's something called freebooting, and for those of you who've never heard the term before, this is a term that has originated from the Hello Internet podcast, which coincidentally I was actually listening to just earlier today, from the guys Brady Heron and TGP Grey. They explain that freebooting is used to describe when someone takes content, often video, but not specifically, and then re-uploads it somewhere else on their own channel, page, username, whatever. They might be taking credit, they might not be, but the point is they're taking, clicks away, for the most part. Now, Cole's had this issue in a few ways, and the most recent and the most major that we've had in a connection with would be the council site. In other places, he's had people reposting his content onto this Russian version of Facebook called VK, I guess. And it's kind of rampant, this kind of freebooting, and it's kind of disappointing to see, since Cole puts in a lot of hard work and he does a really good job with what he does, and yet his exposure is being taken away from him. Now, this wasn't supposed to be... I know a lot of you are probably thinking this is supposed to be like an excuse to shit on council again, but it wasn't originally going to be. It's turned into that. A quick reminder that you can always skip ahead using timestamps in the description. But, yeah, people like Sangry, other people that people are posting on the VK site and other sites and other languages, taking content. This is actually it's not exclusively Cole, of course. This actually expands into other parts of the AC community from what I've seen. I don't know how much this is rampant in other communities, specifically gaming communities, because AC is the largest and gaming community I've spent the most time in. So I can't really speak on how it is in other places.
I can't imagine that there's a bunch of tribute art for Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Destiny, sure, but that's a newer community as well.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to tell because
Yeah.
we only have really a lot of experience in this area. But it's just disappointing. I wanted to bring a little bit of attention to that using this podcast. I don't think there's a really good way to fix this other than like tight moderation in all of these places.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Like that was one of our major complaints with the council, of course.
And this brings me to what happened today. So, on the Ubisoft forums, there is this spammer who spams in some Asian language. I'm not sure which. I think it's either Japanese or Chinese.
I could probably tell.
Yeah, you should go check out. I'll send you the picture in a second. And so they've moved on from the forums, and now they're on the council site. And it's not the funnest thing in the land, I can assure you. As I mentioned, I'm not actually there anymore, so that's actually been pointed out to me. But I'm enjoying watching this, and it's it's not very good. All right, here it is.
Show it to me.
So
Sweeter.
it's incoherent Asian languages mixed in with some random things, random characters. I think I read it wrong because there's only a few Asian characters, and then the rest of it's just random scribblings.
Yeah.
And so it's funny because he's moved on from the forums, and I'm asking people to point him towards the subreddit so that I can ban him because I'd love to do that. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, it's weird. Looks like
And as we mentioned with the moderation issue, this has been here all day. This wasn't like posted in. You can see that it was being posted like in minutes. So it wasn't exactly like one. It wasn't like this was taken like 3 minutes after it. This was taken over the course of several hours. In other news about AC community sites and all that, a new community site has opened up. It's called The Hub by the YouTube channel AC The Hub, and it's for posting. It's very similar to Council actually, but it also has. So it's for posting content made by Assassin's Creed users, and it also doubles as like a database for things like Initiates and Project Legacy, I think. From what I've seen.
I'd just like to point out the Google search of AC the Hub will not return.
Really?
Yeah. I had to search Assassin's Creed the Hub.
What's the address?
It is www.assassinshub.com.
Oh, that's it. I was wrong. No, that's not it.
No?
No.
Where is it then?
Let me pause the recording. After a long process of finding out which site it actually is, it's actually called acthehub.com, and it's for lots of different news, different databases for like Initiates, AC games, all that stuff. They also had a forum, which has been around for a wee while, which is called Assassin's Hub. I actually quite like this. It's kind of cool, especially for being fan made.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot cleaner than both Reddit and the Council.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, the front page, it's not, correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't look as, like, user-driven as far as, like, stories on the front.
Yeah, well, you can't post on here.
Yeah, okay. But it seems pretty comprehensive, and, like, it's got a lot of the stories that ended up on Reddit with none of the reposts. So there's that if you're looking for news.
And he gives credit. He posted he posted this podcast on there actually without anyone asking him to.
Hey, look, it's even the third thing. It's the third tag down on the right at the moment that I'm looking at it is Animus Island.
Sick.
Yeah. And there's Animus Island episode 24.
So I actually really like that. I can really support the site.
Nothing.
So everyone go check out AC The Hub and send them your regards because it's actually a really great site. I definitely recommend checking it out.
Well put together. It's it's definitely a lot better than some of the other sites I've seen.
Yeah, I agree. And finally, I want to talk about
pretty quality fan sites. I'd just like to say in this community.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, with uh, access the Animus and Rhino stuff. Rhino.
And now, before we head on to the actual content, I just want to mention real quick, we've got 2 questions, and since we don't have an interview this week, we're going to fit them into the intro section. So these come from
Cool.
Katie, aka the Cliffhangers.
You said I'd be annoyed by one of these.
Prepare yourself. So,
Okay.
first one. Right now, are you more excited for the Assassin's Creed movie or Syndicate?
I'm definitely more excited for Syndicate because I don't know it. Mostly because it's a game for one thing. It's closer, and I personally like the setting more.
Doesn't today mark like 53 days until Syndicate?
It's pretty close.
I like it. See, this is interesting for me actually because I found myself being more excited for the movie, and it's strange because I'm not a movie person. I can appreciate movies and things like that, but I don't go to the cinema or anything.
Can I make a hypothesis?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think one of the reasons to be more excited by the movie is that we don't know as much about it. It's further away, and it's more mysterious. So, like, whereas we kind of have a general idea of what we're going to see from Syndicate, when you look at, like, the movie, it's like, this could go, oh man, this is very interesting. We could see this go any number of ways. I think also the reason I'm personally not as excited for the movie is that, just video game movies don't have a good track record, so I'm worried there.
Yeah, there's always that worry.
Yeah.
But this one's slightly different because it's run directly by Ubisoft, you know?
I think that, I don't know, that's always kind of been, like, I want to say, like, the Prince of Persia people worked pretty closely with the movie there.
Yeah, but it's similar, but because this is Ubisoft's own, like, development studio, slightly different again.
I
don't know too much about the inner workings
I'm
of
skeptical,
movies.
but we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm also very hopeful.
Mhm.
I think, like, one of the things that could happen, especially here, is because AC has a really great stable of writers, whereas, like, Prince of Persia games were kind of like, I mean, they had a story. It was interesting enough, but it was, in the end, I mean, it's not like a huge, like, branching story or anything. It's just like a kind of I mean, for all the stuff it deals with time, it's kind of just a linear story because you're just going from point A to point B the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot shorter time period in each game as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Also, the fact that it's not like, I mean, it's a new story, but it's not a new story trying to shoehorn in previous characters. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And previous, like, plot points, like the whole Dagger of Time and Grand Reset thing from Prince of Persia: Sands of Time.
And the second question is, if there was one Assassin's Creed game you wish Ubisoft hadn't made, which one would it be?
Oh, man.
I knew it.
Yeah, because that's, I mean, I've said before, like, I really have a hard time choosing favorites and least favorites. Probably least favorites more, just because, I don't know.
This is a step beyond least favorite, though. This is like,
Yeah,
I wish
this
it
is
didn't
like-
exist.
Yeah, I mean, just like, oh, man. Because there's not, like, a single Assassin's Creed game that, like, someone starts insulting it too much I won't get defensive about. But,
Now, the
man.
difference
kind
in
of
the
wish-
details, you see. She doesn't say main Assassin's Creed game.
Yes, that was what I was originally going to go for. I'd probably say that they shouldn't have made Chronicles, I guess. That's probably my first answer. If I were going to go with the main AC game, man, as much as I criticize Unity, like, I really love Unity personally.
I really enjoyed Unity.
Yeah, and, like, one of the reasons I criticize it is because I like it and I want them to improve on it. Like, I recognize it has flaws. And
You're also super defensive about it, though.
I am pretty defensive about Unity.
I was going to go with something like...
I would, for me, it would be Unity just because of all the, like, community and like all the like the Assassin's Creed reputation since then. That hasn't been,
It kind of brought down the entire series as a whole.
yeah, it was like Come on, guys. Like last year, you were like, hooray.
Okay. So I want to head for something like the cop-out answer. I want to head with like Bloodlines or something that didn't affect the overall story in any way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like, oh, actually, no, shit. I got my answer. What is it? Assassin's Creed Memories, I think it's called?
Oh, yeah, that silly card game thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I never even opened that because it was one of
Yeah,
the
I did
worst
that too.
gaming experiences I've ever had.
I'm sure it's, like, fine for people who like card games, but...
It's not really that much of a card game. It's like a shitty RTS.
Yeah.
I don't even.
Huh. I don't know. Well, yeah. You're right. I remember having that weird experience. I think it was a misguided attempt to break into the card game market.
Yeah, like Hearthstone, writing off Hearthstone and stuff like that.
Except I don't even think Hearthstone existed by that point.
Let me
don't
look it up.
think Hearthstone was around by that point. I'll look up Hearthstone. You look up other one.
Okay. 13th of March 2015 was AC Memories. Yeah, Hearthstone been out for ages. Hearthstone was
Hearthstone. Gosh dang it! Get me like an easy wiki page, not. Here we go.
Hearthstone
Hearthstone was released
March 11th.
March 11th, 2014.
Memories was released exactly 1 year after it.
2014? Memories wasn't released in
Memories.
2015.
Yeah, it was 13th of March. No, shit, I'm wrong.
No, it's way
I'm
back.
massively wrong. Yeah, I'm massively wrong. Sorry.
I
was reading the interesting Memories because I was actually reading the first line, the first date on the wiki page, and it says the servers were closed 13th of March 2015, which I didn't even realize happened. It was Memories was released 21st of August 2014.
So still later. Wow. I guess Hearthstone just didn't have as much public visibility by that point.
Maybe it did.
Well, yeah, I just don't remember hearing about it until. I can't.
Funky.
I'm still really confused because I definitely remember playing that game at home on an iPad, and August 2014. I'm pretty sure I was. Gee, I think that you're wrong.
Then the AC wiki page is wrong, which doesn't happen often.
Assassin's Creed card game, iPad. Oh, are you talking about Recollection?
Nope, Memories.
Memories.
What's Recollection? I've never heard of that before.
That is another. It's a silly RTS card gamey thing. Look it up.
Creed Recollection. What in the world? What in the world?
I think Memories is like a further version of
What in the world?
Recollection. I remember playing Recollection. I don't actually remember Memories.
What?
That was in 2011, so that one I was right about. But you know what? Actually, going further off of this, I wish they hadn't made. There's like these silly games they made for iOS that were like they came out alongside Brotherhood and Revelations, and I think 3 as well, and they were just like really dumbed down, top-down versions of the multiplayer. Those were bad.
Good. So, getting back to the question at hand, aside from like these shitty games which don't have anything to do with anything, and also that like one that's exclusive to New Zealand and Australia.
Looking back at all these, sometimes the point that like Assassin's Creed has been milked to shit makes sense. I was really defensive against that. Now that I'm looking back, I'm like, oh gosh.
And so back to the question. So I'd either say all of that crap, or Unity, just like you said, but not for the reason because it sucks or I had a bad time with it. It would be because it's really brought down the reputation of Assassin's Creed. It brought down the reputation of Ubisoft. It brought down the reputation of the AC community, and it really just made everything a lot harder and not nice.
I mean, I think a lot of people who detract from Unity and Assassin's Creed as a whole probably had stopped liking Assassin's Creed for a while because they talk about Assassin's Creed being tired for a while, and then you look at like last year for Black Flag, everybody loved Black Flag, so that's doesn't quite make sense. So I assumed that like the angry under culture that was like suppressed by Hooray got boosted by
yeah.
Unity's.
I think that Syndicate's really going to be a definitive point of the series. Like, it could very well be a turning point, and whether that's down or up, we'll know on release day.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably still be playing it until it actually does die. I hope it doesn't.
And it will die when it stops making money.
Yeah, so it'll be a while.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, even in COD, which is getting, I think most people agree, is just getting worse and worse each year. It's having like it's having like a really slow decline in sales.
But yeah, I do know that sales are declining of that.
Oh, hey, maybe we should talk about this piece of news that just came out.
Yeah, talk about that. I don't know. Oh, you mean like the release date?
No.
More stuff?
No. Yeah, they just announced that Assassin's Creed soundtracks are coming to both CD next month and vinyl in 2016. I need something that plays vinyl. Stat.
My girlfriend is something that plays vinyl. I think she left it at home though. I don't know. Like, I only really care about the soundtrack for the next game because I have them all on MP3 anyway.
But vinyl just sounds warmer.
I don't really.
I've never used vinyl before.
That.
I don't have anything. I've never seen anything that kind of uses that, like, uses it.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of conflicting. Like, everybody who grew up with vinyl thinks it's definitely the best. People.
Well, it's making this massive comeback now, and I keep hearing about how great it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe now vinyl is better than the vinyl I remember from my parents.
Yeah, I guess
But
it could
just
be.
like,
different.
I don't know. I didn't think that the quality was as consistent, at least, and especially when you factor in like the machine that does not run as well. I don't know. I don't have good memories of vinyl, and there's so much convenience in like MP3s and MP4s. So, tell me when Syndicate soundtrack gets released, and then I'll be interested again. Although if they release more tracks with maybe the CDs, I might pick up some of that. But because there are,
I don't have anything that.
I
I don't even have anything that plays disc. I have like both Assassin's Creed 4.
Computer, right?
My computer doesn't have a disc port.
Really?
Yeah.
What are you?
So I have both Assassin's Creed 4's and Unity's soundtracks on disc because they got the collector's edition for both.
Okay.
And they just sit in my closet because not even like my car. Like, I think the only thing I could play is my 360.
Man,
like
I feel
my
bad.
PS3 and my PS4 are both
So you
Blu-ray.
didn't even, when you got The Witcher, you don't have those tracks anywhere, do
No.
you? Can
No.
listen to those?
No, it's
Oh,
just
man.
luckily
really like
YouTube's
that
here for
soundtrack.
when I do want to. But
True. There's
if I
some
don't
great
have
tracks
internet
in that.
connection, then it's like I'm just gonna carry this around the CD, hoping that I can find something. Just carry it around. Help!
Yeah.
You have a CD player. We got some new info coming out of just before PAX. I think it might have been the day off PAX actually, and this is courtesy of Ghost_leader BG. We might have struggled with that name for a wee while.
Ghost_leader BG.
Did I say something different? Did I really fuck it up?
No. I would just like, since I don't know the spacing and
emphasizing.
stuff, I'm like,
Okay, good. Okay. So he brought us some new info all about the side activities and things like that. And before we go on, I just want to mention that, like, I think I'm going to be done watching new trailers and things like that, especially depending on what it is. Like, we saw some footage of Evie hanging out in the train hideout, and I kind of wanted to watch that, like, experience that for the first time myself. So I'm not sure how much more of this news I'm going to be watching and checking out. Either way, we have some new info here. We learned a bit about some of the side activities, income activities, and different like ways to get around, I guess. So we're just going to run through them real quick, and maybe we'll discuss them. We have the bounty hunting activities.
So before we like get too into that, we have them, at least the way he's formatted into it, divided into two subcategories. So we have conquest activities and income activities.
Yeah,
and there's
and then some other descriptions of the city of London.
5 in one and 4 in the other.
Yeah. So first wave of the conquest activities, which I believe just head to going towards, like, they're like border control missions. And then, like, the final Templar assassination will probably be, like, the final border tower. So we have bounty hunting. So if you basically give the police the most wanted criminals, they stay off the gang's back, which I think is a pretty great concept because now it explains why the police don't care about the rooks, which hadn't really been explained yet. But then we also have Templar assassinations, which are pretty self-explanatory. Strongholds.
That sounds a lot like what we've come to get used to from, like, Rogue and 3.
Yeah. And then we have liberations. Release probably some either gang members or citizens or something like that. Then we have gang wars, which
using
are like...
your PS Vita.
Oh, yeah. And then we have the gang wars side activity, which is actually like the final bar.
Yeah. That's like... It's basically... It seems like what we saw in the reveal was basically a stronghold into a gang war, I want to say.
Maybe it was a stronghold with a Templar assassination inside, leading to a gang war.
Maybe. I don't know. From some of the trailers I've seen, it seems like the Templars might be the more noble sides of things. Although the Templar assassinations here also talk about agents, so I don't know. That could be anything from like AC3's kind of Templar assassinations to something with a bit more story as well.
Now
that could be what you were talking about anyway.
Now we have some income activities, which are to make some whole big dollar. Now, one thing I really want to see is actually something that we can spend the money on that's not completely worthless or is way too easy to get to early.
I'm going to call it right now. Fully upgradable train.
Ooh, that's interesting. Assassin's Creed Unity kind of ruined this because, it was super easy to get tons of money pumping out of the Cafe Teatre, and as soon as you had that happening, getting the best gear was super easy. And so I really hope they don't go that route and kind of balance it a bit better.
Yeah, I kind of like... I don't know. I feel like if you're going to go like the steady income route, I prefer it like AC2 and Brotherhood and Revelations, where you end up with just a crap ton of money and you can get everything. Because, I mean, I don't know. Part of the thing with the customization system in Unity is that all of the legendary stuff, even the master stuff, is like hugely expensive. So if you're a completionist, then it's like, even with like your income, which I think fills up like every hour or so, like you get to the max cap.
The difference between...
I don't know.
The difference between
just with Unity, it's like you get a lot of money, but you get it parceled out in small chunks, and it's like,
the difference between the 2 Brotherhood Revelation system and the Unity system is that the 2 Brotherhood Revelation system is actually challenging, and you have to work towards it by doing fun things.
Yeah,
while Unity feels more like a grind, then getting it set up, then getting money slowly.
Yeah, and there wasn't as much feedback I felt with the Unity system. Like, I don't know, playing through Brotherhood right now for the marathon, like, it's kind of nice, every couple minutes you do a thing, you renovate a shop and you get this notification, Rome's income increased to 12,656 florins, or whatever you have. So it's kind of nice to have this feedback that you're doing, like, whereas Unity, it's like, you don't really know until you go back and check. And even now, I'm still sort of confused on what actually increases your income in Unity. I mean, I know some things, but like, for instance, buying all the social clubs increases your income. Does doing the missions attached to those social clubs increase your income or not? I've not been able to figure that out.
Yeah, I don't know, actually. And the only time you really get a notification of any worth, because they're like exactly the same notifications as everything else, is when it's actually full. Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I turn those notifications off, so I don't even see that.
Oh, yeah?
So I'm just like, I'm going to go check now. I hope that there's money.
So some of the income activities we have here are the fight clubs, which we've seen plenty of footage of. We also have the train robberies, which is super cool. Really looking forward to doing that.
Yeah, that's going to be one thing that we...
I hope we, let the people out or something, otherwise that's not very, fighting for the people. We have some...
We're probably going to steal from the upper class, I would bet.
Like Robin Hood style.
Otherwise who are you going to steal from? Just like, everybody who's not a Templar, leave. Everybody's gone. Dang it.
And then we have some street races, which we've seen which are probably super similar to just like fucking riding characters around. Then we have some.
No, I don't know. I miss parkour races. It would be nice to have. I like sometimes just like, because we I don't know. Unity was very much like they kind of tried to focus on like the stuff you could do in the new engine, like in the core game, and by doing that, you really just did the same thing over and over again. In all the side missions, basically, like you went through the same gameplay loop of like, fight, stealth.
I think we could probably
heal, fight, stealth, whatever.
I think we could probably dedicate like side content to its own discussion at some point.
Yeah. Again.
Yeah. So then we got cart escorts, which there were like several missions like that in Tyranny King Washington in the third episode of it. I remember that. Maybe it was just one, but I remember doing that. I think it's going to be pretty similar. Like you can probably like stand on it, ride it around. Yeah,
you might also end up hopping to your own carriage to.
Oh yeah.
I bet that just because you have more interaction with the vehicles in this game, it'll be a bit.
You think it's going to be more like a cart, like a carriage, like a full horse-drawn carriage? I thought it was just going to be like a.
I think it's going to be one of the carriages.
I thought it was going to be like a slower, more like supply wagon.
I think. I don't know. Depending on. I think it depends on how they do them. If they're like a bunch of missions that are basically the same format that you can replay, then it'll probably be. I think it'll probably be a bit faster if it does that, just because they want to emphasize their new carriage stuff. If say they're a bit story based, then I think we'll see a bit of variety. Like you might have a slow cart, you might have a different mission where you have to jump onto other carts and like ram carts around, and I don't know. I definitely think personally I would think faster would be more engaging, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Then we have some of the list of ways you can get around, including the steam engines, horse-drawn carriages, and rowboats. And here the description is, I wouldn't recommend to swim in the Thames unless you've got a taste for industrial muck. This makes me think that we can't swim in Syndicate.
I think you can. They might do the rogue thing where, like, in certain... I mean, I guess in all of the Thames in this case, you take damage. Although I think it would be great if just, like, you take a swim in the Thames, like, 20 minutes later, you randomly die of cholera. That's probably what happens. But
oh god,
I don't know. I expect we'll either have like, steadily dropping health as you swim, or you'll just be able to swim. If they make you unable to swim, then they'd better make sure they've got their parkour system straight, because there were several times in Unity like where you'd be parkouring on the river if you spend a lot of time in Unity. There's a couple places where instead of wanting to go to like the next thing, like the next pole or the next boat, Arno would just dive straight down to the water. So yeah, I hope they've got that a bit better than Unity and AC1, where it just screws up all the time.
And then we have the description of the rope launcher, which we've seen, and then we have a description of the 7 districts, which are
I think that's the most interesting personally. I like getting these glimpses of places.
I'm not going to go over it, I don't think, because that might take a while to like analyze them.
Yeah,
but you can go check them out yourself. They look kind of cool. They look very different. I like it. Yeah,
I think that's the main thing. I really like the contrast between, say, like Whitechapel and the Strand.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't know. I really like the poor areas of Unity just because of like their different architecture.
Yeah, like there was that one district which was like basically just cardboard boxes.
Yeah, the one by the Ship River.
Yeah. Cool.
I think so. I think that's the one we're talking about.
So earlier this week we had our first look at the Assassin's Creed Syndicate pre-order bonus trailer, pre-order bonus content with the Darwin and Dickens missions, and It's certainly an interesting trailer. First time we've seen a trailer for the pre-order content specifically, which is interesting. And this pre-order content seems a lot more expansive than in the past. There's quite a bit of hullabaloo around pre-orders at the moment. We're not going to go into that right now. Maybe in a future episode we're going to talk about pre-orders themselves, pre-order content, things like that. But we're just talking about the trailer right now. McCracKenway, I know you had some thoughts on the trailer. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, I thought the trailer itself was pretty bad. It's not an exciting trailer. It's not like a compelling trailer in any way. It's like, I don't know. It's just presented really badly, like kind of a bland voice that talks over some stuff with some slightly interesting music. I thought the most exciting thing about the trailer is actually what it shows off, which I think is pretty cool.
And you can't forget that same bland voice just happens to speak with a wisp.
Oh, does it? I didn't even notice.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed Syndicate. It's kind of bad, and it's a really bad British accent as well. I don't know who they got. I don't think that's, like, I know Britain has a lot of accents, but I don't think that's one of them, in general. I had quite a few issues with this trailer. Its biggest issue being that it really doesn't get me excited for anything. This didn't make me want to go and pre-order the game. I'm probably just going to pre-order it a week before, like I usually do. But this isn't like...
it didn't, it's not something, I watched and I got excited. It was, a little bit after I was like, so this and this. And then I was like, that's kind of exciting-ish, I guess. I had to put in effort to get excited about it.
Yeah, it's...
For me, it was like, okay, so that exists. That's neat.
I mean, there was a Revelations pre-order bonus trailer that I feel like was kind of along the same beat, so it was kind of like a shitty trailer, but I also don't think the pre-order content for that game was any good, though.
Yeah. It's this is definitely isn't one of the best trailers we've seen from Syndicate.
No.
And it just seems more like actually because of the amount of effort they put into the pre-order content for this game, it makes it seem more like it's not some shitty tack on for the people that pre-ordered it. It's actually something they should have put in the game itself. What do you guys think about that?
This relates back to our discussion of the Bonfire of the Vanities and the Battle of Forley, but I think, well, the trailer itself is kind of meh in many regards, although the one interesting thing I thought was when Darwin or Dickens, I don't know which one, their names are both pretty much the same, is like, will you help us? Jacob's like, and Evie's like, yeah, let's totally do it. And I thought that was kind of neat that she's excited.
Yeah, I think that was Darwin.
Yeah, see, exactly.
It was just...
The Darwin and the other one conspiracy. But anyway, the point is that the fact that they're actually making a trailer, which they haven't really done for many other games, because with AC Unity, it's like, do the Lavoisier chemical revolution mission. That was just a little concept art piece at the end of every other trailer. It was very whatever. And in the game, it was proportionally, it's a 2-minute mission, whatever, who cares? No one does. So the fact that they have a full trailer, regardless of the quality, means that they are devoting a lot to it, which to me is telling that they're putting more effort than usual into the DLC. And the fact that it's kind of the way it's presented is they're saying see more of the Darwin and Dickens conspiracy stuff in the game makes me think it's already there. But this is, McCracKenway, to your point, an expansion, so it's not like you can't live without this, but like the Copernicus missions in AC Brotherhood, or it's like you can do without it, but to have it there is really neat because it adds a nice little bit of historical niceness.
Yeah, it does seem to me a lot like the Copernicus missions in Brotherhood, just because, what I expect actually is that you'll probably see these characters in the main game because they keep talking about them in context of the main game.
Oh, that could make sense, yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be like a conspiracy specifically focusing on them, like you had the conspiracy focusing on Copernicus. And it does seem, I don't know, the trailer from what they say makes it sound like it'll be at least a similar length to Copernicus, because it's like if you use the word chapters, it's hard to think of anything that's not decently long. So they're like, there's multiple chapters that unlock. It sounded, and I might just be making this up, but it sounded like chapters might unlock as you progress with the game, so it evolves naturally with the rest of the story. We'll see, I guess. I mean, the only way...
sort of like the Christina missions, then? You mean?
Maybe. Yeah. Hopefully you don't
I
have
don't know if
to
it worked in the same context because the point was it was a memory back. But I do like the idea that sort of as the story progresses, sorry, there's a truck going by. I'm outside right now. As the story progresses, you get different elements of it. So it's kind of like a, every memory sequence, just so you check in on Darwin and Dickens and see how they're doing. So it's kind of like a little interspersed thing. That could be interesting. I'd like that.
That, of course, I mean, most of the things we're saying, like, about the actual thing will probably, for instance, like the Bonfire of the Vanities thing where it feels like it should be part of the main game, we probably won't actually know much about that until like people actually play it. Whether, because I don't know, it could go like one of the things like with for instance, I mean, this is a type of day one DLC if you look at it that way. And for instance, like Mass Effect 3 had this day one DLC that, I mean, I was lucky enough to have it because I ordered the collector's edition for that game. But, like, I could not imagine what the game was like without it. It just seems so integral to the rest of the game. I don't think it'll be that bad, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's funny that you guys should mention how much, like, effort they're putting into this content. When there was one thing that stood out to me, it's a little bit pedantic or semantics or one of those words. But they say that Darwin pioneered the theory of evolution. And let me straight up say first, in common language, evolution and natural selection are the same thing. But as soon as you do even the tiniest bit of research, you quickly discover that evolution and natural selection are two very different things, and Darwin being credited for the one he isn't is kind of a strange and kind of a big deal. Because, I'll run it down real quick. Evolution is the theory that organisms change over time, basically moving from one species into another over time, and that's the end of it. And for this theory has actually been around thousands of years, hundreds of years before Darwin, but there was a big hole in it, because every single theory needs an explanation. Why does this happen? Well, the hole with evolution was just why? Why does shit change, yo? Well, Darwin came along and he came up with this idea through his studies in the Galapagos Islands with the finches. About this thing he called natural selection, or in layman's terms, survival of the fittest, where the changes and the mutations.
Survival of the fit, actually.
Was that actually it?
Yeah, survival of the fittest is kind of when you get into like social Darwinism, where it's like beat everybody else, whereas Darwin's natural selection, survival of the fit, is just like, as long as you work within your habitat, you'll go on and survive and pass on your genes. You don't have to beat other people.
So Darwin explained that the mutations and the changes to his species which help them survive and have babies more stuck. And that was the explanation. Natural selection then explained evolution, allowing evolution to grow as a theory and become accepted. And so Darwin being credited for evolution in this kind of this trailer where, you could say either or, because it's going out to the general public. And if you're going to be correct, then you would say natural selection, because it just makes sense, because then it works for both the public understanding you and the people who know about this that understand you. So it just seems strange to me. And there was actually a dev blog that came out the same day talking about how much effort goes into making these games, how much research, all about the time period and things like that. And this just seems kind of counter to that, and a strange disconnect. It just seems like out of place, and as I said, it's a little bit pedantic, but it's kind of a big deal if you understand the meaning of both words.
So here's what I would say about this issue, and to address the disconnect. I feel like what happened was there was a massive debate inside Ubisoft with the marketing team and the DLC team, like, what are we going to call this? And there were people shouting and crying like it should be evolution, no, it should be natural selection, and someone had the final say on this. But I feel like there was an argument that took place between this, because I feel like the people who were on the DLC team would have wanted to say, natural selection is correct, but then maybe someone on the marketing side said, but most people, even though it's wrong, understand Darwin as the face of evolution. And who knows, maybe in the actual DLC, we'll get something that explains that, like what you just did, Aftermath.
No,
but I don't feel like it was that easy, just someone messed up.
I think it is, because I disagree. I think that people have, in general, have heard both the terms evolution and natural selection, and can at least ascribe both of them to Darwin. You know, they probably don't know that he is specifically natural selection and specifically not evolution, but I bet that if someone heard natural selection or something like survival of the fittest, survival of the fit, Connor, then maybe they can tell that it's Darwin. I definitely think that it's more like marketing team saying that it doesn't matter and not doing the research, which is directly counter to the development team actually doing the research for the game. So it'll be interesting to see whether this makes it over into the game itself, because it definitely seems like one of those just marketing exclusive blunders. But I'll be quite a bit more distressed if it makes it into the actual game.
Yeah, I guess that's another thing that we'll have to wait and see about. I think surely, like, I don't know. I guess it's probably a bit late to re-record lines, but
well, this wasn't. Yeah, it's. I don't
they've
think
probably seen the backlash by now, at least.
Yeah, this one is just some bad British guy with a lisp who's recording these lines, so they wouldn't need to do anything.
Hey,
to
at least it's not French accents. Count your blessings, Aftermath.
Yeah. So I think that was basically all my thoughts on the trailer. I think it looks kind of cool, and like I believe that most of the pre-order content comes with anyone who buys day one, whether you like pre-order or not, because it comes in the box, for the most part. So I don't really care. I'm gonna play it either way, and whether it sucks or not isn't gonna affect whether I pre-order or not, because I probably just. I'm not pre-ordering out of spite, like I know that some people will. Out of people, like, complaining about pre-ordering. I'm not pre-ordering because I want to get the exclusive content or join the family or anything like that. I'm just pre-ordering so I get the game when I want the game.
I'm pre-ordering because, like, I mean, for that reason, because I agree with the sentiment of, you know, don't pre-order, but I don't really care myself that much.
I think it's like...
But also, I feel like for this podcast, like, that's the excuse I keep giving, like, on the subreddit.
Yeah,
like,
I saw that.
To talk about the thing, I need to play the thing, so I'm gonna,
Yeah, I just like to pre-order like a week before when I think of it, or something like that, or like a few days before.
Yeah.
It doesn't make much difference to me. Bunch of comic news this week. We got 3 alternate covers for issue 1, and we got the first release of comic issue 2, and we still got a synopsis from number 2. McCracKenway, could you look up the synopsis for me real quick?
Synopsis from number 2. Well, on the hub, they handily have it listed down at the bottom. So it says, Charlotte De La Cruz is overeducated and underemployed, wasting her time in a dead-end job in San Diego and spending her free time chasing down conspiracy theories on the dark side of the internet. When a real-life conspiracy crashes into her life, she's pulled into the orbit of the assassins. Give me a second, I'm going to link this to you.
Wait a second, is this the synopsis for number 1 or number 2?
It's just a synopsis. I think it's an overall synopsis.
Okay.
So...
Oh no, this is the synopsis for number 2. Events in Salem terrifying turn as assassin.
Really?
Events in Salem turn terrifying as assassin Tom Stoddard faces the townspeople's rising hysteria while they bay for the blood of supposed witches. Viewing his memories, Charlotte witnesses how deep the feud with the Templars go, and how brutal.
Oh, but at the bottom it has an overall thing.
The choices to be made in her new life will be. The bottom is, I think, for the first one.
Yeah, so we've got
first issue.
Both. Bottom's a bit longer as well.
Okay, so for issue 1, we got 1, 2, Jesus Christ, 1, 2, 3, 4 alternates.
Oh, because of the black and white one.
Yeah. I think they're considering that another alternate one. I'm glad
Okay.
because I actually didn't like the original cover very much. I think
Yeah,
it
me
looked a bit
neither.
janky, and I really like the.
I like the painty one.
I don't really like the painty one because it looks too much like a painting.
I don't know. I kind of like comics that are done in interesting.
Yeah, I can see that.
less
Like, I'd probably
comic-y
hang that
styles.
up on my wall. I wouldn't want that for a cover for a comic.
Fair enough.
I really like the either the one with Tom Stoddard on
I
it,
like the Tom Stoddard one.
or the leaping one off the Hotel St. James.
Yeah.
I think those are both really cool. And then
I hope there's a hay bale down there.
and then we have
Oh, she's gonna land on
the
her
first
face.
cover for issue 2, Trial by Fire. Is that what? Wait, what?
Yeah, it's Trial by Fire.
Yeah. This looks a bit weird because Tom Stoddard looks red.
A bit fire there.
Yeah, I guess because
Yeah,
it kind of stands out a bit. While Charlotte's hood looks kind of cool. We got what city is that? That's not San Diego, is it? In the background,
It's supposed to be San Diego.
is that what the San Diego skyline looks like?
I don't know. I've not been to San Diego. I wouldn't. I mean, I'm sure there's a downtown that has tall buildings.
Find out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Is that-
looks like it?
It was like 3 tall buildings though in a row. I thought it looked more
Different
like
angle.
Chicago.
Probably be. It does look a little bit more like Chicago, but I don't know. From a stylized perspective,
I guess
from a
it could
different
be.
angle, I could see it.
I guess we'll find out. Maybe she leaves San Diego and goes to Chicago
Yeah.
or something like that.
And I'm sure, like, I don't know. I feel like comics fudge. I mean, you know, Marvel doesn't really care what the geography of New York is that much.
Yeah, I guess they just have like the core pillars, core buildings.
Sometimes they do, but most of the time they don't.
And we also have, I really like the Sega one because it's like split, and so it's focusing on both of them. While the first one, you can either get a cover that's focusing on him or focusing on her, instead of focusing on both.
Yeah.
And I like that they're focusing on her at least a little bit because with the fall, and the chain, they actually just focused on Nikolai.
Unless you get some of the editions which just have a symbol on the front.
Or Subject 4, which is like the collection.
Yeah. What I find interesting about the comics that we know so far is that it's Charlotte De La Cruz. That's right? Yeah, Charlotte De La Cruz.
I have no idea.
We're living the life of Tom Stoddard. So I don't know if they'll address it or not. But I know there was at least a memo in Assassin's Creed 4 about a person who was a guy reliving the life of a woman.
And that
he
woman was
having-
Evelyn.
Yeah, that's what it was. And he was having some issues.
It was like, my bits and bulbs are different. What do I do?
Yeah, I think he was a bit...
I wonder if
I
she's
don't
gonna
know
be like,
how
my bits and
serious
bulbs are
it
different.
was, but like...
They kind of touched on it for like at least, I think it was 2 memos about how weird it was. There was
Yeah.
a strange disconnect, like mental disconnect.
Yeah, so I would assume there's some synchronization issues at the very least, realistically.
Interesting.
Again, like, I don't know. They might just
Ignore
want
it.
to tell the main story, you know. Although, I don't know. Since they have a modern-day protagonist, maybe they'll go into that. But again, it's just like, it's all over the place.
I just saw that these covers are actually like numbered. So if you look in the top left, there's like a date, and then it has cover A, cover B, cover C, and cover D. Wow. You want me to
a lot
buy
of
all
comics
of
have
them? You piece of shit.
Yeah, they definitely do. Which, actually, how do you plan on consuming this comic?
I have no idea. I haven't even put thought into it yet. I didn't realize they were coming so soon.
I don't know. The way I usually consume comics is find the graphic novel collections in stores later.
Yeah, same.
That's probably what I'll do.
But I want to. But I want to like read it in real time.
I mean,
though.
even just for like the podcast, I feel like we should read it and talk about it. But I don't know if it's really. I don't know. It doesn't go with my personal preference, I guess.
I don't know how I'm going to do it. I haven't put much onto it yet.
Although I do know a comic book store down the street, don't I?
I'd probably be getting them from Amazon or something.
Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes comics don't release on Amazon. I know Marvel has their own store for that.
Interesting that I just saw this, that the painting-like cover is actually called Cover Prime. That's weird. So I guess there's 5 covers.
That's right. Well, so A is probably the first one we saw.
Mm-hmm. B is Tom Stoddard. C is Jumping Off Building. And D is black and white version of the original. Then Prime is another whole one altogether, but it's in a painting style.
Yeah. We're not missing any, are we?
Nah.
Yeah, so Prime, A, B, C, D. So yeah, 5.
I don't know, like... you people, why don't you do this to me? I need all of them.
The more common one, I think.
Could do. Maybe that will be the one that, like, fits into, like...
Maybe it could be either the most common or the rarest. I don't actually know much about how comics work.
Neither. I've never heard of a comic cover Prime before. Like, I've heard of things having variant covers, but never, like, this many. Maybe it will be, like, the cover for the graphic novel. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. That's interesting. It's all very confusing. I need to put way more thought into this before I can even talk about it. As if I have any kind of knowledge on it. I need to look up how other comics work. I usually digest them through graphic novels.
This week we got a lot of official stuff about the Assassin's Creed movie with Michael Fassbender, the most notable of which being an actual picture of Michael Fassbender in his assassin costume. Not hard to find. Just look up Michael Fassbender assassin, probably. And a bunch of other stuff that was like speculated but now has been confirmed, such as Spanish Inquisition setting, modern day is in it. He plays both characters. So yeah,
it ties into the rest of the Assassin's Creed universe, which is very important. And they said it will have consequences, which is great.
But did anyone really doubt that though? Like, this is like not Prince of Persia.
It's nice to hear it.
This is not Prince of Persia being made by some outside studio. This is Ubisoft making it. I doubt that actually, like, because unlike something like Prince of Persia, Assassin's Creed is already transmedia. So I'd be seriously surprised if it wasn't canon.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main question really would be whether, I mean, again, I don't actually think this is, I mean, it would be like a time will tell thing, but while something might be canon, it might not have like a major effect on anything else that happens in the universe. So I'm still kind of skeptical of that statement, just because I feel like it might not be worth
People
it.
are already theorizing how it's going to tie into that year's game, because it's coming out right on the holiday season of 2016.
Yeah, December 21st.
Yeah.
So it's actually going to, if they keep with their modern day takes place when the game takes place, it's going to take place after
most likely. Huh. And
I was going to say the plot twist was that he was really the guy from Unity all along. Ooh, spooky. But no, I think he's going to be sort of like a Desmond character. His name is Callum Lynch, and he lives in somewhere. And I feel like he's going to do sort of like Desmond-y AC3 type stuff, where like kind of running around doing stuff, but also data mining to find important things. And to get to the actual picture itself, which about 5 of my friends sent me, like, "Hey, Gregory, have you seen the new Assassin's Creed movie?" Yes, I have. Of course, I did. What I liked
they
was
don't know about this podcast, do they?
No, some of them do. But anyway, what I liked was that the costume looks pretty cool. I'm generally a fan. He's touching the blades all tender-like. He's like, "What do I do with my hands? Just touch the blades all sexy. Do your thing, Fassbender."
Yeah,
okay,
do the sexy.
When I first saw the costume, I thought that, like, before reading further down, I thought that we were getting a remake, like a movie version of Revelations, because it just looks just similar.
The hood looks very Revelations-y.
Yeah.
The hood
and he's wearing
Revelations-y.
The red sash.
Yeah.
Red sash, yeah.
I mean, it's the same
But
time
everyone
period,
was...
so there's that.
What I didn't like about all the articles I saw was that they were all, I think mistakenly, saying the picture is of Callum Lynch, who lives in Spain during the... No, you're wrong. No, he's not. Callum Lynch is a guy who lives now, and Aguilar, which of course means eagle in Spanish, or something like that, lived back then, back there. So people are kind of falling on that simple research point. So maybe Aftermath, you're right, and people are just fucking up. Who knows?
Well, if you noticed in the Yahoo article, they kept referring to Assassin's Creed as Creed, and so suddenly we became Creed fans, and this was the Creed movie.
Isn't there a band called Creed?
Yes,
Gross.
there is as well.
Ugh.
And so some people were actually confused, and Wayne Davis actually thought that maybe perhaps they were actually just calling the movie Creed. Like, that would be a pretty cool title for a movie and a good way to handle it, I reckon. But then, so he contacted Gabe and some of the community managers, and mysteriously, over the next half hour, all of the mentions of Creed in the Yahoo article changed to Assassin's Creed.
Go Wayne Davies.
I think that's just a little funny. A lot of people can't seem to pronounce the Spanish guy's name, which is Aguila, not like the U is like a double E.
Oops.
But
I speak Italian, not Spanish.
Italian.
What's up, boy?
I really like the outfit. I think it's looking pretty cool. You know, I like the attention to detail that there is, and it's very like Spanish, I reckon. Maybe I wouldn't be able to say that if I didn't know it was Spanish, but it looks pretty Spanish to me. I really like it, and
Let's talk setting.
Yeah, I was just heading that way.
Saying?
Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah, I was just heading that way. Spanish Inquisition. We know that, guys. We know that we're going to the Spanish Inquisition in the 15th century. We know that some familiar faces are going to show up, so maybe we will see Robert Downey Jr., Leonardo da Vinci. Maybe not. And we do know as well, which several people have pointed out, that Ezio was romping around Spain at this time.
Yes,
so that's interesting and fun, and Roger Craigsmith should totally get on board.
I mean, if you're going to do fan service and reference the games directly by having a person there in the movie, AC2 would be the one to do it with, because he's definitely the most well-known assassin among people who haven't played the games.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like the audience of people who haven't played it but want to see the movie would know who Ezio is, so that'd be a really neat thing for them. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, hey, they still have the costume lying around from Lineage, so...
They burned it. It's gone.
We also know where the movie's being filmed. It's being filmed in 3 locations: Malta, Spain, and London.
Huh.
Ooh. Neat.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I bet London is modern day,
Mm-hmm.
and Malta and Spain are...
Yeah, I think so. Where's Malta?
Where is Malta? Yeah, isn't
Island
it like in the Mediterranean somewhere?
Thing.
Yeah.
Check real fast. I took a course that mentioned Malta a lot.
Right.
So I might...
I read, but I haven't confirmed, that Callum Lynch is supposed to be Irish, or at least like
it's
Irish American.
It's
Something
like just south of Italy. P.S.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I heard that Callum Lynch is supposed to be like Irish or something, which is interesting.
It's a name like Callum.
Yeah, Callum's a very Irish name as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Callum Han.
Anything else, guys? What else did we learn? We learned some stuff. There was also the Q&A. Oh, fuck me. That Q&A. Oh, Lord. I saw a Ubisoft tweet today, and it was like, in case you missed any of the details from the Syndicate, the movie Q&A, you can catch them all here. And I'm just like, what details? There wasn't any details. There was just vague answers to vague questions.
But it was...
And it was really fun working with Jeffrey O'Hallam.
It was better. It was better than the other one.
It was better because he actually answered some questions, and he answered more than 5, but he answered most of the repeats, though, which is so it's still not a good Q&A, but it's still way better than Syndicate's, I reckon.
Yes. Yeah. I would also reckon that. The Reckoning.
Yeah, okay. Any other thoughts on the movie?
Nah. All right. Hear more. We've
already got
I guess
a bunch
I do,
of
but also don't want to see set photos. I mean, we saw the one guy jumping off the tower in Malta, which was neat. But like with the whole Toronto and Suicide Squad being more porous than a sponge in terms of security, so now we like saw all the stuff we shouldn't have seen.
It's always the case, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Fassbender is already posting stuff on Instagram. Yo.
I find it cool that people on the subreddit are repeating some of the things we said about the movie last time we talked about it with Wayne Davies, like things about Eagle Vision and stuff.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's about it.
Well, I think that'll do us for this week. Thank you very much for joining us for this extremely okay. I can't speak anymore. Maybe we should just end it here. Thank you for joining us for this very disjointed episode. This has been episode 25 of the Animus on the podcast. I'm Aftermath, that's McCracKenway. Invisible Man is Ares. And we didn't have a guest this week. Next week, we are in for a special surprise if everything goes to plan. And if it doesn't, it'll probably be just us again.
It'll be a special surprise in that there is no special surprise.
Yep. If
Maybe
you'd
I
like
should
to
save that joke for later.
If you want to be a guest, then you can always contact us in basically every way. I'm Aftermath1231 everywhere. He's McCracKenway everywhere. The other one's Aries2596 everywhere. Or you can email us at amazonpodcast@gmail.com. This podcast is on YouTube and on iTunes. If you want it somewhere else, let me know. And I think that'll do us. All of this will be posted on the Assassin's Creed subreddit, which is your prime place for all of your Assassin's Creed news and discussion and all of that stuff. We'll talk to you next week.